Welcome to Coffee with MBA and Beyond. I don't know if it's coffee time for you guys or not, because it's not the most appropriate time to be taking going into such an adrenaline rush. But yeah, whatever you have in hand, your water, your wine, your beer, let's have it together. I would really like to see more faces than Geetanjali and Shantanu's on the screen today. Also, I'm sure you guys also want to make this more interactive for yourself. So feel free to go on cameras. It's going to be a close-knit session. And as we are going through the session, if you've got any questions, you feel free to raise your hand so we can have you unmute yourself and you can ask your question. If you're uncomfortable doing that, you can drop your questions in the chat window and we'll take them up as we are touching upon the relevant topic. So I'm Paridhi, co-founder of MBA and Beyond, hosting this every fortnight for you guys to have all that you need to gather to make a great business school application and we have a competitive edge over there. I am accompanied by two amazing speakers, Geetanjali from GMAC and Shantanu is the founder of MBA and Beyond. I am now going to shut up and stop talking, hand over the mic to Shantanu to introduce himself, and then thereafter, Geetanjali, over to you.
Right. Hello, everyone. I think people are still gonna join. But good to see you. Like those who have joined the meeting, like in 2 minutes. It's really good to see you over here. Because I'm Shantanu. I'm the founder at MBA and Beyond. We have been actually helping students get through, the applicants get through the top-notch B schools. Yeah, apart from that, I also have a personal side. I like to play chess, guys. I DJ as hobby and like to travel a lot. So yeah, that's pretty much about me. I don't like you guys would have heard my introduction like too many times. So over to you, Geetanjali. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Paridhi. Thanks, Shantanu. So hi, I'm Geetanjali. I work for GMAC, and GMAC is the organization which is the owner of the GMAT exam. We administer the GMAT exam around the globe, and I have total of 10 years of experience with more than 7 years in the education industry. Personally, my side is not as adventurous as Shantanu. I'm a simple person. I love books and cute cafes. So yeah, that's me. But look forward to interacting with you.
All right. Thanks, Geetanjali. Thanks, Shantanu. So just as the flow of the session is going to go today, just to help you all understand, first, we're going to touch upon GMAT, specifically GMAT. So if you've got any questions related to GMAT, feel free to throw them out here for Geetanjali to answer. She'll be happy to answer. Second half of the session, we are going to be tackling INSEAD R4 applications because INSEAD just announced R4 with an August 26th deadline. So any questions that are popping up in your head for that, or scholarships, anything, because they've doubled the scholarships as well, feel free to throw them in here for Shantanu to tackle. And I'd be happy to tackle both the sides of questions if I would have something to chime in. Quick note here, we have developed an AI-driven tool specifically for INSEAD application where our tool is helping candidates write stellar INSEAD essays at just $299 US. So the things or the process around it will be put together in an email and the email will be sent to you guys after the session. So watch out for that email. But now we will tackle the GMAT situation with Geetanjali. Over to you, Geetanjali.
Thanks. So I will quickly present my screen. I promise I will not bore you guys with a very long presentation. I'll try to keep it short, but this will actually cover a lot of aspects about assessments, GMAT exam, and maybe maybe I'll answer a lot of questions that you guys might have through this presentation. So just let me know when my screen appears.
Yes, it does.
Great. So I will directly start with assessments. So I know that, no one likes to give tests, but it is very important because it is valid and reliable predictor of readiness. Now, what does that mean? So whenever you're applying for your post-graduation, especially abroad, right, you are being tested for how will you perform in the classroom and how will you perform during placements, or even, when maybe you'll start your business or you'll go for a job, what will be your performance there, right? So an assessment gives that predictor of your performance in the classrooms and, in your business or job that you might be thinking for your future. Another aspect to assessments is that why is it important? Because, for example, if you're planning to go for INSEAD, right? You are not the only one applying for it, or people from India are not the only ones applying for it. People around the globe are applying for it. And, the undergrad education, the school education, the way undergrad scores are evaluated across the globe, it's very, very different. So an assessment like the GMAT, they give a measure, right? A common measure for everyone, from students from all backgrounds, all countries, like a same measure, an equal measure, a fair measure to evaluate all students from across the globe. Also, it helps you grab scholarships. So if you have like a good GMAT score or any other assessment score that you might be planning, and maybe if your profile, other aspects profile are weak, but if you have a good GMAT or other assessment score, you can stand a chance at scholarships, and also it's an efficient part of global admission process. Moving on to the GMAT exam specifically. Now, GMAT exam is focused on B school. So if you are the one who are like sure, committed that I want to go for management education, then GMAT exam is for you, because it is created by the business schools for the business schools. So GMAC as an organization is actually a committee of all the business schools around the globe. And we are focused on graduate management education. And also, if you are giving the GMAT exam, the business school would know that, you are serious about management education and you're not confused, right? That with any generic exam, if you're giving that, if you want to go for management or something else. So it's an indicator to the business school that you're committed to management education. And it also, again, helps you demonstrate that, you're ready for classroom. So, the GMAT exam is created in a way that when you prepare for the exam, you're actually preparing yourself for the hardship of an MBA classroom. So you'll be prepared in a better way if you give the GMAT exam and prepare for that exam. Also, just talking about numbers, GMAT exam is accepted by 7,700 plus management programs across the globe, across 2,400 plus business schools, and in 110 plus countries. More than 100,000 students across the globe give the GMAT exam, and it also gives you advantage during placements. So, for example, there are a lot of consulting firms, which look for assessment scores, and if you have a GMAT score in hand, it will give you an edge during your interview for placement or for a job interview. Moving on to the overview of the GMAT exam, some of you would already be aware of it, so I would be very quick here. It's 64 questions. We have shortened the exam now. In 2023, we changed the exam to a shorter version. It's now for just 2 hours, 15 minutes. The score scale is between 205 to 805. There's a lot of confusion, amongst the student community who's preparing for the GMAT exam or planning to study abroad, around the score scale. So I will be covering this in detail as well. But you should know that it's 205 to 805, not 200 to 800 anymore. And we have 3 sections now. We do not have any essay section anymore. We have quant, verbal. We have a new section, data insights. It's not as new because we launched it in 2023 when we changed the structure of the exam. And GMAT exam is a very, very logical exam. It assesses your critical thinking. It does not assess, how good you are in vocabulary or how good you are in math or quant, right? So it's a very logical exam and a very interesting exam as well once you start preparing for it. We have 2 delivery channels. You can either test at a test center or online at home. Again, many students come to us asking if there's any difference between both the modes. Can you score better in one of the modes? Nothing like that. The test is exactly the same at a test center or online at home. It really depends, as a person, what do you like? Do you like a structured, atmosphere like a test center, or do you like your own, comfort level at home? So it really depends on individual to individual. That's the only difference. And there's just no other difference between test center or online at home. And also it's packed, like the exam is packed with candidate friendly features. There's question review and edit. Again, it's a new thing that, we added in 2023, wherein you can go back, once you complete the section, within that section, you can go back and review all your questions, but change only up to 3 responses. So you have the chance to change 3 answers per section. Of course, you can review as many questions as you want within that section. You will not get any additional time for it. So if you have time left after you complete the section, you can do this. Also, you can select the section order. So while you're practicing for the GMAT exam, you will understand where your strength lies, right? So when you will be practicing, you will understand, if I start from verbal, will that be better for me? Will that be, confidence boosting for me if your verbal is strong, for example? Similarly, if your quant is strong, do you want to start with that? Because, that will be confidence boosting for you and you might just perform better throughout the exam. So we give that flexibility as well. We give one optional 10-minute break, and we have accommodations as well for specially able people. Also, this exam is actually made for you because it's an adaptive exam. Now, what does that mean? It adapts to your capability. So, for example, if you answer a question wrong, then the next question would be easier. If you answer the question correct, then the next question will be difficult. So it adapts as per how you answer and as per your capability. And we also try to make it as stress-free as possible for you with all the features. Now, again, a lot of students question us as to, what's the right approach towards the GMAT exam. And this is what we guide everyone. First, you register for the exam, then you prepare, and then you test. And why is that? Because, as again, many of you might know, you can register and test the exam any time of the year, unlike any other Indian exam like CAT, which happens only once a year, and you have like a specific window to apply. With GMAT, you can apply for it any time during the year. So it can be a boon because it's so flexible, but it can be a bane too, because a lot of people start preparing for it, but never register, thinking that, I am not prepared yet. I'm very demotivated today, or whatever be the reason, right? Life happens. So once you register for the exam, you have a set date in mind. You will prepare backwards from that date, and you will be more strategic in your prep plan. You will have like a goal in your mind that, this is the date when I need to give the GMAT exam, and I will prepare according to that. And you will not procrastinate, right? We, as human beings, we tend to procrastinate. It's not your fault. So this will help you, avoiding procrastination. And also, it'll also help you avoid any kind of last minute hassles that, if you want to register today and test like 2 days after, it might just be like anxiety driving for you, right? So it's always better to register early, prepare, and then test. And then moving on to some scoring myths. Now, this is very, very important because, again, there's like a lot of anxiety among students around the scores. So a lot of students think that my score will be negatively impacted if I take longer to answer a question. The exam algorithm is not created like that at all. Of course, you will have to manage your time. You have that specific time frame to answer all the questions. And again, if you do not answer a question, that will be negatively impacted. So you have to take an educated guess. But if you're taking longer to answer a particular question, it'll not impact your score, right? So you'll have to manage your time accordingly. Some questions can be hard, wherein you can take longer. Some questions can be easier for you, wherein you're taking shorter time, but no impact on score as such. Also, my score will be worse if I get first or second question of a section wrong. Again, this is a myth because your score is not dependent on just like the first few questions. We do not weight any particular question heavily, especially the first or the second one, right? So again, it's like a big myth out there in the market, which I wanted to clarify here. And again, if I change a question from correct to incorrect during the question review and edit, so I was talking about this feature, right, that you can go back and change your answer. And if by chance you changed your answer from correct to incorrect, it will not be weighed heavily because you changed your correct answer to incorrect. So do not let that stress come in your mind that, what if that happened, and do use this feature of question review and edit without overthinking it, because this is again a myth. And also, if I'm running out of time, I think I've covered this. It is better to leave the question blank. Myth, big myth. We do not negatively mark, right? It is better to answer rather than leaving the question unanswered, because that will, leaving question unanswered will, impact your score negatively. So take an educated guess, do not leave any question. And we have other myths also. I must get a high score. So, in India, I've seen earlier we had the score scale of 700, right? Now we have 705. So everyone is like, I need to get a 700. I need to get a 700 plus. Now it's 705. So I need to get a 705. I need to get a 705 plus. It's nothing like that, because when you apply abroad, right, and especially to a business school, they evaluate your overall application, right? You have your LOR, you have your essays, you have your profile, you have your interviews. There are just a whole lot of things in your application process, and I'm sure Shantanu will be covering that in depth. But your GMAT score or any other assessment score is just a part of your whole application process, in that business school. So do not fret about that, you need to get a 705 or a 705 plus. Of course, you can aim for it. It's always good or great to get a high score, right? But if you have other aspects going in your favor, your profile, your essays, the other things, and if your score is a bit lower than what you were expecting, it can offset it. Your strong profile can offset that, lower score than what you were expecting, and vice versa as well, right? If you have other aspects in your profile which are weaker, then your high GMAT score can offset that too. So, look at the whole application process, in unity. Do not look in each aspect separately that, this is what I need or this is what I need. So, again, a myth that I must get like a very high score. A lot of people just keep fretting about it, never give the GMAT exam. And in fact, they get so anxious that they are capable of getting a better score, but because of the stress, they don't get that score. Again, I think I did cover this. Advanced math skill or vocabulary is not required in this exam. It's a very logical exam. The online exam is easier, harder than test center. Big myth, nothing like that. Both exams are same. And this one I would like to give importance on. GMAT focus exam scores are lower than earlier GMAT exam. So in 2023, we launched the new format of the exam. We called it GMAT Focus temporarily. It's GMAT exam now. And we changed the score scale. So you can go to mba.com, which is our official website, and just go to understanding your score under GMAT, and you will see a concordance table wherein we talk about percentiles. So you should always look at percentiles, and we work very closely with business schools. Even business schools have started looking at percentiles, and do not look at, I have got a 655, there might be a student who had given an earlier GMAT, and that student would have scored a 705, 700 at that time. And right now the student has gotten 655, and he's like, he or she or they are like demotivated that, earlier I scored better. In GMAT new version, I'm scoring lower. So that is more difficult. It's because of the changed score scale. So your 655 is your new 700. That is how it is. So I would really encourage you to go to mba.com and look at that concordance table. Now moving on to prep. So we have a whole official GMAT prep store, again, available on mba.com and mba.com/prep. We have a 6-week study planner. Again, it's a very important planner. Some people do, take just 6 weeks to crack this new version of GMAT exam. For few people, especially working professionals, it can be harder. So again, do not, really constrict yourself that I need to do it in 6 weeks. It is just a term that we use. But if you feel that, you want to take longer, you can. But this planner is just like an overview. You can expand that 6 week to maybe 6 months also, for that matter, right? So it depends on you how long you take, but just do look at the planner and you can expand or shorten it as per your own timeline. And we have a free official starter kit. There is no charge for it. It's like mock exams. We have 2 full-length practice exams. You just need to create your account on mba.com and access these official practice exams. But first register, right? And if you are even not registering and just like giving these practice exams without any preparation, do not judge yourself with the score. It is just to give you feel that how the GMAT exam is about, right? So do not judge yourself with these practice exam if you are planning to take them before even you start to prepare for it, or before even you register for the exam. So these are some prep products. We have our official guide. We have paid official practice exams. So apart from those 2 exams, we also have other practice exams, but they are paid for. And we have a whole lot of official, prep material, even section wise. So if you feel, for example, your quant is weak, so we have like a whole quant guide, whole data insights guide, etc. Right? So your go-to is mba.com/prep for it. Now some bit on accessing your score. So this is all logistics, right? So how do you access your score? So your unofficial score is visible to you right after you complete your exam. You cannot take a screenshot, or you do not get any print of it. It is just for you to know that you have this unofficial score. But we also provide official score within 1 to 3 working days. If there's any kind of tech issue or anything like that, it might just take longer, but like on an average, it takes about 1 to 3 working days. And your official score will also be sent to the business schools that you select. So you can select 5 business schools for free, to whom you want to send your GMAT score. And apart from that, if you want to send to more than 5 schools, then you have to pay a minimal amount that you need to pay to GMAC to send your scores. Some quick FAQs. Do I have to pick my schools before starting the exam? No. So earlier, again, this used to happen that you needed to tick like 5 business schools before even you attempt the exam. But now we have let go of that. You have to select the business schools, or you choose to select the business schools only after you give the exam. Because of this, you don't even need to cancel the score. So earlier we had this feature of canceling the score, but now you do not need to cancel the score, because you are anyway sending the score only after you test. And you can retake the test 5 times in a year and unlimited times in the lifetime. So again, a very good candidate friendly feature that we have here, that you can retake the exam. And in fact, I was doing this webinar with IESE just like a few days back, and something great that the associate director of IESE said, that if a person or if a candidate comes with more than 1 GMAT score, we actually appreciate that. So if you feel that with the first attempt you're not getting the score that you want, and if you want to retake, but you have this in mind that this business school might judge me, that I'm not capable of cracking it at once. No, business schools are actually appreciative of your determination, of your perseverance, that you're not giving up and you are actually retaking the exams to get your ideal score that you want, right? So, and this is something that I just heard from IESE like a few days back, and other business schools are also talking about it, that we actually appreciate people sending multiple scores to us. However, if you do not want to send multiple scores, you can choose just 1 score, and we'll just send that 1 score to the business school. You cannot download, or you will not get a printout of your score. You can just download it from mba.com, and the score will be sent to business schools directly from us. And should I send my score if I'm not happy with it? So it's completely your choice. If you feel you do not want to send and you want to retake, do that. But again, roughly 30% of test takers do not send their score for various reasons. Let the schools decide, right? If you feel that, this is like a pathetic score, then of course do not send it, retake it. But if you're like on the edge, and if you know that your other profile aspects are like amazing, then please do not fret about it and just take the shot, send that score to the school. You can in fact retake it and send the other score also, because as I said, schools appreciate it. I think I covered this in detail. Should I test again? Yes, you should. If you feel that, you want to test, you want to score higher, go for it, send those scores to school. Again, some logistics aspects to it. You cannot test immediately after you take the first exam or the second exam. You need to give at least 16 days between the two attempts. There is no lifetime limit. You can give unlimited, you can give the GMAT exams unlimited times. And in fact, our research has shown that if you retake the exam, there's a possibility, or the probability is higher, that you increase your score by 20 to 30 points. So that's it from my side. I hope that was a quick, short presentation, and it clarified, a lot of doubts that the students might have about the exam.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank
Thanks.
you. And I actually have a question where we have where students are going to test centers to write the exam, and then, few people are staying at home to write the exams. How do you make sure that people don't have their books right in front of them, or, they're not looking into cheat sheets or anything? Geetanjali.
Yeah, so we have like a proctor, right? So a proctor would be there throughout your exam, and even if you're like moving your eyeballs, right? If there's like a suspicious eye movement, like normal eye movement is fine, like around the screen, but like a suspicion eye movement, like if you're like looking down like that, like, so proctors are trained to understand that what students are like trying to cheat or trying to open the book. So you really cannot do that. And even if you're like thinking I might, do not, because you get banned. You get like completely banned from GMAC, and the business schools get to know about it. So your future is at stake, right? So like, do not risk it at all. We have proctor. We also have like a complete security system in place, which can catch, like the system can also catch if you try to cheat during an online GMAT exam. So yeah, I can assure you that you will be caught, and it'll like cost you a lot.
I have actually seen it. So I was speaking to an applicant. I think it was like 5 or 6 months ago, and then the applicant scored like good. Applicant had like a 675 or 685, and then I got in touch again, and then he's like, my score is cancelled. I was like, why? And then he didn't tell me anything, but I'm pretty sure that even after the score is out, you guys also review it, and the proctor, sometimes the decision might take time, but
Correct.
yeah, but I think gotta be honest over there.
Correct. Yeah, that's why I specifically mentioned that we take 1 to 3 days to release the official score, but it might take longer in some cases due to some tech issue. But also, especially when you're taking it online, we review it thoroughly. So yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a thorough process, and yeah, you will get caught, and your score will be cancelled, and you might get banned. So yeah.
Right, right. And also, a few other points that you made. One is that, stop fretting on your score, right? There are other things on your profile. And I think that is where, we've got a 690 GMAT get through LBAs with 100% scholarship, a 630 GMAT get through INSEAD with 18,000 euro scholarship, with a bunch of other, such things. And we also totally agree. I mean, a test score is a part of your application. And then every B school looks for different values, different things, and your application is a combination of all those aspects together, not just one thing standing. I had another question, by the way, Gitanjali, when you showed the questions that you got verbal section, you had quant section, right? During my time, I think I couldn't choose. It would just come in. I think quant used to come in first, and then verbal, and then we had DI, data insights. It was really very less. And then we also used to have AW. I don't think that the essay section that's what you were saying, Geetanjali, right? That's been completely removed.
Yes, essay section is completely removed. So that was AWA, right?
AWA,
That we used
yeah.
to have. In
Yeah.
2023, with the launch of the new structure, we completely removed the essay section, and we actually had limited choice on section order. Now we have like complete flexibility of the section order. You can start with data insights or verbal or bond, and you can like choose the second and the third section order as well. It's actually a really, really good feature because again, it's psychological, right? So if you start like with your strong section, it really motivates you. However, for some students, I've also seen that they really want
Other
to
way around.
other way around, right? They
Yeah.
want to quickly
Mental power to like, like I really want to take on my weakest section earlier so
exactly,
I have full mental
exactly.
power available. Yeah, true.
Correct. So one has to like really practice to understand what works for that person.
Yeah. Cool. No, this was really insightful. Thanks a lot for letting us know over here. Paridhi, over to you.
Thank you, both of you. I think two of the most important questions that we've tackled, having talked to so many applicants in the past 5, 6 years, they struggle to understand the importance of, probably considering how important are other aspects of the profile alongside GMAT. And Gitanjali, just to break it to you for coming from the other side, just to see like what applicants, they really devote more time to the GMAT preparation than they do to the application. And that's, like this is something that we've been trying to break for the longest time. They might even spend a year doing GMAT. But I'm glad it's coming from somebody from GMAC to help everybody understand that, it's also the other aspects of your profile. Everything holds real value to your application. So yes, for anybody who's targeting business schools this year, please also look into the other aspects of your profile alongside your GMAT preparation.
Yeah.
And I've seen some of the really good profiles fare very well in some of the top schools when they tackled both the things strategically together. The score prep, also the creative side of story building, because the test prep and story building, they very rarely, they cross paths or intervene with each other in a negative way, because this is like the creative side. Of course, this is critical thinking, and it only, boosts you or pushes you further to take or get a better score when you are trying to relate to a particular business school. So I feel that's been very beautifully tackled. So for anybody out there, most of the candidates, I'm assuming here, haven't taken their scores, like taken their tests yet. So all the best for that. Now we are going to move on.
Sorry, Paridhi, sorry. Just another thing I want to add. Like this particular question that I have taken test multiple times now. I don't know how it's gonna look, right? I think that was one of the outstanding takeaways, key takeaways for me over here. Because applicants generally feel that they might feel I'm a loser, but it's the other way around, right? I mean, what B schools are seeing and saying. But I guess you were talking about Riddhi Gilani, right? She was the IESE Associate Director, Geetanjali, right?
No. So I was actually doing this for our Africa region. So I also manage Africa region. So that was associate director who manages that region.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we actually had the associate director for this particular region for Indian region on our platform earlier, but this point that it really feels that you are making attempt, right? By writing GMAT over and over, it just shows your interest, and shows that you're really up for it.
Right.
That was pretty good. Yeah, Paridhi, now.
All right. Okay. So now moving on to the next half of the session. And everyone feel free to drop in your question, because I know there is a buzz in the market. There's a buzz in the business school world right now. So Shantanu, can you help us understand what does INSEAD saying that they have extended their R4 deadline and they've doubled their scholarship really mean for the candidates this year?
Right. I'll be honest, I'm not able to talk like on video with them or on a call with them. I've just interacted. But I guess for me to easily put this up is guys, there are seats available. There are seats available. This is for sure, right? And now with the scholarships, like doubling scholarships is an invitation, right? Come in, right? You will also be served. So if I have to break it down, I really feel like a conversion rate or a yield rate in a particular round, it's going to be seats available divided by total number of people who are going to apply, right? Now the seats available, the numerator of this particular ratio is higher. That's why we see why INSEAD would throw out double scholarship. And the denominator, because it's R4, is lower, right? So, I mean, it's just basic maths, guys, right? I mean, for a ratio, if the numerator is higher, denominator is lower, and could very well be GMAC question. Like is this number higher or lower than the previous number, right? It's significantly higher, guys. So the chances, I personally feel, right? I'm not saying INSEAD said this or anything. I personally feel is higher. And I think it might be higher than R1, of the coming intake. So yeah, I mean, if you feel that you can really submit the application by then, because you hardly have like 31 days left now, right? But if you feel that you can submit the application by then, you should take a stab. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Shantanu. I mean, of course, that's a question that I think everybody had. I also, and I think candidates would also love to understand, does this extension, I mean, I think you've already touched upon it, but does it really mean that the quality of applications, I know we talked about the volume of applications because probably the seats are not filled yet, and then schools are really looking out, and INSEAD has just been proactive to extend it because they want more applicants to submit in round 4 right now to fill the seats. But do you think the quality of applications this year could be lower? And should applicants view this as an opportunity?
Right. So, guys, first of all, those who are attending this session for the first time, I am from INSEAD. I'm 2017 December batch. And one thing I know for sure is if they feel that the quality is low, they would be fine not filling up the seat. So point number one. Having said that, what I feel can work out is your stellar profile, but there's like one aspect, which you feel you're not able to cut through the mustard. I think such profiles, I feel, have chance, a better chance than, and that's exactly what I'm trying to say, because if you go to R1, right, then they're again going to have big pool, because most of the people are waiting for R1. But I think this is exactly, like here again, at the base, you are a stellar profile. You actually got to be stellar, but they're like thing or two, but let's not say two, one thing that you lack, this is where I feel R4 is going to be suitable for you more. I hope I've answered that question.
Yeah. Thanks, Shantanu. But I'm going to go a little deeper since you said one. So INSEAD looks for 4 very essential values in candidates. One is academic rigor, then leadership skills, international exposure, and contribution to the community. For most of the candidates sitting over here, and I'm aware that, most of them struggle with the fact that they might be working with international clients or vendors, or, they might have a team sitting outside of India or their home country, but they might not have traveled for work while they could have everything else tackled. Do you think the statement that you made could also apply for people who lack international exposure with respect to moving out of their home country?
Yeah. And again, whatever I'm going to say is just my subjective opinion. Right? There's nothing official about it. Absolutely. I mean, I believe that because the deal is in R1 INSEAD rejected so many stellar profiles. that didn't have international exposure, so we also from our end, we don't take in applicants to make them apply to INSEAD if they don't have international exposure, right? Like significant, it's not just a little, like significant, right? But we do take in few applicants in, like 1 or 2 every round, where we feel that the applicant is amazing. It's just that applicant chose not to go abroad, right? Or there weren't opportunities available, but applicants climbed up the ladder significantly, and the rate of career progression is way, way, way higher than those who are also outside of India or got the chance, right? So now we're talking about such profiles, right? I think these profiles where you might not have international exposure, where you physically move out of the country, but if your profile is stellar, your career progression is stellar, right? Yeah, this is exactly what I'm trying to say, Paridhi, that they have chances, or let's say you have everything, you had a drop year, or let's say now you have a decent GMAT or a decent test score, right? But your GPA was a little low,
Yeah.
earlier. That ship sailed years ago. It's not in your hands anymore, right? So, but again, your career progression, but after that, you have been like really very amazing. You are leading a team or have led a team or coordinated the efforts, right, of a significant number of people. You've won awards, you've gotten promotions, and also outside of work, you have showcased leadership. You are very actively involved in other communities, right? And then even now your GMAT, GRE, your test score is decent, right? Then I think again, so there's this one loophole, right? That your GPA, sorry, my bad. Your GPA back then was a little lower, right? So I think again, such cases, I think have good chances in this particular intake. But having said that, the profile needs to be stellar.
Yeah. Thanks, Shantanu. And that's why, I mean, this candidate, one of the candidates who came on board with the 695 earlier, wasn't thinking of applying for INSEAD just because of has some international exposure, but was laid off a few months back. Again, that was like a big gap, just to help everybody understand that, candidates are really seeing this as an opportunity as well, even though the time is really short. So the next question then arises, Shantanu, how, let's say if somebody decides to really go or shoot for the stars for the August 26th deadline, how should one really prepare for it? Because it's just 4 weeks and INSEAD is a heavy application. Do you have any tips for that?
It's a heavy application for sure. There are too many words to answer, got 800 words in job essays, 500, 400, 300, 900, 1200 over there in motivational essays. I think my first tip would be to stop thinking about the narrative. It's not about answering the essays, guys. It's never about it's never about what you're putting in the essays. It's always about why are you putting that, and how does everything come together, and is it coherent, right? And does it really make sense? And would you be able to achieve what you're saying? I think these are the sort of questions that you should start answering. You should start brainstorming what strong points you have, what weaknesses you have. I think one thing where I've seen people struggling, like everyone, like, what's your strength? Everyone's like, I have blah, 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 and blah, right? Like, what's a weakness? My weakness is I'm not able to say no to work when my boss asks me to, now, come on, that's a strength in disguise, right? I mean, you're still trying to flatter them, molding it, flipping it the other side, right? That's my weakness. So I think these are the things where you should start taking a look into, and start with goals, and then try to see whether these goals are feasible or not. I mean, people also focus a lot on how flashy my plan is, guys, flashiness, it doesn't matter at all. What really matters is would you be able to achieve what you're saying, and in short, start working on the collinearity. And what I mean by collinearity is like 3 points where your current work experience, your goals, post MBA goals, and the answer for why MBA. These 3 things should be collinear. And in maths, when we study, we say that if 3 points are collinear, it means they fall on a straight line, right? And there's only one line, right? Which would go through the 3 points again, guys. For GMAT, you can, it's going to be useful. So that line is your overall direction of the story. How strong is that? Are you really clear? So that clarifies your thought process. I think these are the bunch of things that are supposed to be done. Paridhi.
Thank you. And lastly, I see that candidates do not have a lot of questions. For the first time in the session, I'm seeing there are no
Yeah.
questions scoring, and
I
that's
think the turnout is also low. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just curious. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for me to notice, because I will have to take action. Or I really want candidates to be engaged. So yes, guys, if you've got any questions, feel free to drop them. Otherwise, we're just going to be closing on with the thoughts. Shantanu, what do you think about the scholarship situation that INSEAD has announced? They've doubled it. Do you think it's really realistic for us to expect scholarships in round 4, which is honestly not considered as the best round when you have to bag scholarships?
Yeah. So honestly, I thought a lot about it. Why would you do that? I mean, yeah, you're inviting, right? But they're also hitting another aspect, which is there's genuine concern by applicants, which is if I'm going to join now, right? I could see the market is not good enough, am I getting the right ROI out of the program? So because of the volatile market conditions, right? So there's a huge question on ROI. This is exactly where I think when INSEAD doubles the scholarship, the ROI, this particular thing in the head gets answered. That as far as ROI is concerned, it is improving because I'm getting double the scholarship. And yes, you will get scholarship. By the way, like every year, our applicants, get through both INSEAD and LBS, right? And then what we do is we haggle scholarships with both the schools without writing any essay for scholarship essay, right? You just go to both the schools and you haggle. And INSEAD just doesn't budge, at all in general. But I could see it in the Jan intake, R1. They're throwing scholarships even to Indian male engineers, which was surprising, to me, because most of our applicants who eventually joined LBS was because they got scholarship from LBS, and INSEAD just straight away said no, and that's why they went to LBS. But yeah, I mean, I had also changed my rhetoric. I mean, now I don't say that INSEAD doesn't budge, right? So guys, expect scholarship in R4.
All right. Thanks, Shantanu. So a question for everybody over here. Of course, feel free to type that out. How many of you already have your score in hand and are targeting either R4 or R1 for INSEAD? You can just say R4/R1, whatever it is. And I already have a score. Or if you feel like sharing your score, feel free to drop that in. And the ones who don't have their scores, can you help us understand when are you writing your GMAT? Or when are you planning to? So at least I also understand what my audience is like today. And that will give Shantanu and Geetanjali also some insights. Yes, Satyam, targeting R1 for September intake. And I'm sure you already have your score. Do you? Yes, I think I remember you do. Others, is there anybody else targeting? Yes, okay. Okay, we've got Focus 645 R1. That's good. And anybody else? Only 2 people are ready right now. Others, have you guys taken the dates for your GMAT or not yet? Still not sure. Maybe Geetanjali, you have your 2 cents to share with others if we know that people are.
I think if most of you do not have a score, it's good that I'm here today because I'm just like hoping that I've motivated you guys enough to just register for the exam, go for it, do not fret about it. I know there's like a lot of fear around the GMAT exam, around examinations, particularly. Again, as I said, no one likes to test, but it is important. Just like register, set yourself a goal, and then prepare as per that test date. Anyway, if you're planning for R1, now is the time to not delay it further. So yeah, that's like my quick 2 cents about it. Just like go for it, keep yourself motivated, and I'm sure it's a great bunch of people out here. You will be able to do well, either from your score or from your overall profile, or like a combination of.
Yep. Thanks, Geetanjali. Okay, so 4 people I could figure out. Anybody going for R4 here? I'm very curious because I've only, since they announced, we've only onboarded 2 candidates, and I was just curious, like, what are people really thinking about R4? So, okay, it seems like nobody's targeting R4. All right, still good then, anyways. Like, nobody's worried then. R1 is anyways good. Try to submit early. INSEAD is doing rolling admissions. Just letting all of you know again, if you do not know, all MBA and beyond candidates are planning to submit their applications at least 1 to 2 weeks prior to the deadline, just to have an edge. So for on any of you targeting INSEAD, please keep that in mind.
We have applicants submitting 30 days prior to the deadline. Yeah, just to leverage this,
Yeah. So all the best, everyone. I think this was a great session. Thanks, Geetanjali, and thanks, Shantanu, for enlightening us today with everything that you did. And thanks, Geetanjali, to help us understand, from the other side, from GMAC side, how they see candidates and how they really want candidates to see the wholesomeness of their own profile and not just the GMAT score, which is very important.
Yeah.
So all the best, everyone. And thanks, everyone, for joining in today. I hope you enjoyed.
And cheers,
Thank you
everyone.
so much. Bye. Take care.